No, we're just gonna move on.
Yeah.
And it's not even a better video. But the point of the matter is these people right here still exist.
Well, we like Marysville the way it is. But as far as having um, a black couple moving in, we have no problem with that. But where it's wrong is when you have a white woman and a black husband, a white wife and a black husband together. That's wrong, and vice versa.
Well, and why is that?
It's simple. What? It's simply against the Bible. Like I was telling her, God created Adam and Eve, same kind, same race all around, and that's how He wants that. He's our example right there.
Talk about what you want. What it is that you want Marysville to stay? You said something in particular that you wanted it to stay white. Tell us about that.
Well, just that. It's a nice city the way it is. We have
Meaning white?
if black people, if a black couple wants to move in, fine.
What Bible is she reading?
Same Bible that put us in slavery.
I mean, no.
Same
If
Bible.
she's-
Yeah, it's the
no,
same Bible. Yeah.
no,
Exact same Bible.
no. That's interpretation.
No, you asked which Bible. I'm telling you, it's the same Bible.
No, it's the same. It's the
Their
same Bible.
interpretations
Same
are jacked
word.
up, but it's the same book.
No, Tracy. It's the same Bible, but you are right on one thing about it. It is the exact same Bible that you
It's
read,
the
but it's the
interpretation.
interpretation that changed. It has been like that since the Bible existed. You could take the Bible and one person would think of it a certain way, take it at face value, and know exactly what it is to better
there's
your life and the
no
world. There
point.
are people who are just
But,
so cringeworthy, they're going to find a
But-
And
verse
that's the way she
in
was
there to
Marlon,
show that
but-
they are correct and we should.
But Marlon, there's no place in the Bible. Now, I'm not
Let
a scholar.
me put it to
I'm
you
not a
this way.
theologian.
Let her
I'm
finish,
not
'cause
none of those
I
type
think
of
I know where she's
people.
going.
But there's no place in the Bible that bans interracial. It ain't in there. It's not. I can name.
Wait a
She
minute.
didn't say
So
bad.
are you saying that it's nowhere in the Bible where they were saying that this community should not marry or intersperse with that?
Those
community?
were tribes of people. That's totally different to me.
I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying though is like I get where you're going. It is absolutely against the spirit of the word, in my opinion. It's absolutely against the spirit of the Bible. But it's the same Bible because people are using it to say like the descendants of Ham or the black people and all that other stuff and the curse of whatever or whatever.
Cain and Abel.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, it's the same Bible.
Yeah, well, that was
It's
the story
just
I was
people
gonna
are not
tell
always
you.
being led by the spirit; they're being led by their political or social motivations.
Yeah,
and
her
they'll
wig.
weaponize it.
I had a problem with her wig also, but that's just me being petty. But I'm just saying, lady, like all she would have to do if she were smart and she read the book of Matthew first and second chapter.
She
is
probably
look
did.
at- No,
She
no,
probably
she
did.
didn't.
She
Because if
probably
she
did,
looked
yes.
at the
Tracy-
lineage, if she looked at the lineages of Jesus, she could not possibly say something as stupid as what she just said.
If you
'cause
don't believe
know
that
what?
Jesus is black, why? What other conclusion?
No,
would you
because he
come
was
to?
mixed in with a lot of other races were mixed in.
But was
Tracy,
Jesus mixed?
here's the deal, because, and I had to learn this from this show, from the time I got into it. You're using logic. These
Yeah, how
people
dare
are
I?
not using logic. You're going, I'm going to read this Bible verse, and then I'm going to come up with a conclusion. It's not what these people do. They come up with their conclusion.
And then they try to
And
make it
then
fit
they're
what they're
going to
saying.
scan the whole Bible to come up that agrees with that conclusion. And even if, and this is why I stopped you, Tracy, I'm not even trying to be rude. I'm just telling you how these people think.
They don't.
Even
think that's
if
unfair.
they don't find a Bible verse or a scripture or a book that agrees with what their thought process is, they're still gonna say it's written in the Bible
Yeah, because
that
they know.
ABC. And when you push them on, okay, cool. Show me where in the Bible it is. Well, obviously you're not a
They'll
scholar of the
say
Bible,
the
You're just
so
trying
I'm
to
not gonna
nitpick
do.
and blah 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 blah
yeah,
blah.
they'll
blah.
say, "Oh, be separate," which the Bible does say, "Be separate." I'm not even gonna say. I'll give her that point, but I'm like, chick, you got to be crazy. No,
See,
no.
I disagree. Like people like her, I think that this was really kind of an unfair interview. I mean, yes, it showed
Oh,
where she was,
Theus,
but
wait a minute, Theus. Let me stop you 1 second.
What was that?
From what you said, I think all those interviews like that is unfair. I think if you're sitting there and you have somebody that goes, "Can I interview you?" and you don't know firsthand what the questions are going to be.
Oh shoot, then I never have an interview then.
I hate those. I hate those type
I
of
would
videos.
never
no,
have an
I just
interview
say that
because
it's
I never tell people what my questions are going to be. Never ever.
well, I think that this lady,
Literally moron on last Tuesday, but okay.
this he didn't answer any questions anyway. This lady, in my opinion,
Idiot.
did us a service
Yeah, she tells who
because
she is.
you're I mean, I see how you could take that. But what I took from that is this was a woman who, if you notice, she was trying to measure her words.
Exactly.
She was trying her best not to be offensive,
Exactly.
but she
That's true.
wanted to be honest about what she thought and what she believed to be true. And I think that there's a lot of value in that because that's the type of person that you could sit down and have a conversation with and help her cut through some of her own bullshit. Like she didn't come across to me as someone with bad intentions. She came across to me as someone with bad teachings, right? Because she's basically saying, I ain't got a problem with black folks. They could move right next door to me.
If
I'd be
they're
cool
the
with
same
that.
rates.
I just
And
don't want to mix it,
And
right?
this is the deal here. I'm going with what Parker said. She was stuttering and speaking so slowly because she couldn't get the words out. White woman. Parker, here's the deal, my opinion about her. She knew what I use that word. She knew what she was saying was unpopular.
Yes.
I ain't gonna say she knew what she was saying was wrong. That's not right. She knew what she was saying was unpopular, but she had to say what she felt was right. So
Yes.
she was trying to measure before she spoke between, do I say how I really feel and try to combine it in a way where I'm agreeing with the somewhat popular views as what the world is going through now. What she slipped on was at the end. Because she said she had no problem with a black family moving into her neighborhood. She just didn't like mixed couples in her neighborhood. What she slipped on was the person, which is once again why I don't like these got you interview what people say. So, but you like your neighborhood the way it is. And she was like, yeah, I like it the way it is. So white.
Because that's
We
not
can
what
sit
she
here
was
and
trying to
hee
convey.
about it, but that was a got you question. And I don't like got you questions because she didn't see that coming.
Right. I mean, now she did in her mind when she envisions what her neighborhood looks like.
Yes.
It is white.
Right. Yeah.
And in her mind, I've not had issues with my community. I know most of the people in my community. We don't have crime in my community. So when I think of that, yeah, I would like to keep it this way. And yeah, when you bring it up that way, yeah, we are all white. Now there's this one nice little black couple up the street and they don't cause nobody no problems. Right. So that's why I was like, people like her do not bother me. People like her vote in a way that I thoroughly disagree with. But she, in and of herself, what does it hurt me for her to have some bigoted views? I just think that some people, we have to, in my opinion, we have to allow people to not agree with you and not be forced to agree with them. Like Malcolm X once said that we won't have true brotherhood until the black man can sit across from the white man, and the white man, and whatever the black man says doesn't offend the white man, and whatever the white man says doesn't offend the black man. See, that's when we can start having some brotherhood, because that's when we can have real conversations. But if each side is busy trying to figure out, well, if I say it this way, then I'm going to set this person off. Or if I said it this way, then I'm not going to have the right words. For those of you who use the terms allies, right? You know how I feel about that particular connotation. But that gets in the way so much, and from my viewpoint, of a lot of white allies, in that they want to engage. But as they're trying to engage, one, they didn't grow up with our history. So they didn't grow up with our viewpoints and our biases and our pains and our family stories and all of that. We can say they should know, but that's not a realistic expectation. But their heart is crying out for the humanity of the situation, and they're trying to engage. But because they came up through the same broken ass system that we did, they're afraid of saying the wrong words. It's almost like two people who speak two languages. Why is it that you can take Spanish for 2 or 3 years in high school, and then when you're grown, you can't speak a lick of it? That's because you were so afraid or ashamed of sounding crazy when you try to speak in this new tongue that you didn't practice it.
Nope.
Because you were afraid they were going to reject you or laugh at you or look at you funny, because when you're trying to speak in Spanish, it sounds crazy to them. When in fact, you just need to have someone who's willing to let you stumble a little bit so that you can get better at speaking to other people. But we don't want to give anybody that room. We expect the white folk to come on in and don't ever like have a whole 2-hour conversation and never use the word colored. If they came from a background that colored was a word that was always flowing around them, they might use that word once, and then you be like, whoa, buddy. Don't do that. Now, the N word we all know not to use, but there's little things, right? Or they'll start talking about history and they'll omit what we find very important. And then we're like, whoa, wait a minute now. 94 crime bill. So that's why I like with this lady, I don't want to condemn her for what she doesn't know. I do appreciate that she was honest in what she feels. I don't agree with what she said, but perhaps she's someone that you could talk to and find a way to move the ball forward a little bit.
And this lady pretty much proven she's knowledgeable. And I'll go back to, I hate to repeat myself because I don't want to sound sloganeering. When I say she knows what's popular, but she knows her opinion. Her opinion could be her upbringing. And that's where she come from. And I'm going to go with what Thea says because it irks me a little bit, and it does. You should know better. Y'all, okay, stop that. Please stop doing it. You should know not to do this, not to say this. We live different lives, not lifestyles, lives. You cannot take old boy from a town of 300 people, have never seen a black person a freaking day in their life. The only time they see a black person is either on TV or heard him on the radio, put him in the big city, and when he says something off the bat that's just terribly wrong, you finna beat the crap out of him. What did you think was going to happen? Let me tell you this. When you take somebody that's from the hood and you take him to a high society party, do you expect him to be high society now? No, it doesn't work that way. You're being very unrealistic. That's not how it works. Once you get to a certain age, you go from your lifestyle to learning. And that's only if you want to learn.
That's true.
If you want to learn, it goes from your lifestyle to your learning. If you want to learn, you will learn it. If you still want to just go with your lifestyle, the heck with the other race. I don't care. I'm sticking with my lifestyle. My lifestyle was happy. But if you want to learn because you want to be a part of a greater society, you will see that they're trying. But for every time they do a oops and a slip, you don't sit there and say they should have known better. Why? Because they're older? Because they happen to be in the big city that's not diverse for 6 months? What did they do to make you feel like they should have known better by now? 18 years. Let's go with that number. When they've been in their little town for 18 years, they didn't feel another diversity of any race whatsoever until 18 years after they have been, I ain't gonna say indoctrinated, that's wrong. They grew up in, I know there's a better word to it, but they grew up in this type of society, this type of ideology, this type of thinking.
Yeah, I think intention and timing matters.
18 and put them in a big city that's diverse, and you want them to be, I don't know what you want them to be. No mistakes.
Yeah, I think intention and timing matters, right? Like there are people who you can tell are not coming with the right intentions. They don't get the kind of patience that I'm talking about here, right? They don't. But if you're talking about someone who they're not trying to be aggressively vitriolic towards you, then maybe this is someone you can engage with. And if you can't, then you back off and you move on. It doesn't really change your life, nothing. As Stokely Carmichael once said, I don't care if someone is racist. I care if someone who's racist who can actually harm me. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I don't care about anybody being racist. I care about somebody who's being racist and they figured out how to hide it very well and affect your life.
Yeah, it's if they can have impact, right? Yeah. That's why sometimes you hear me say I don't really care if somebody is racist. I don't, because we all that's all is not a fair firm. Vast majority of people hold bigotry and prejudicial opinions of other groups, even if they're able to minimize it to such a degree that it's not really impactful. But you have them, right? Are you going to say if a person isn't perfect, you can't deal with them? I don't think so. But then you have people who just are malicious. There's no working with those people. You have to defeat those people, right? And the way you defeat them is you take away their base. You take away their supply line. Like if you're at war with something, you can try to go straight up against their military head-to-head, one-on-one, open field battle if you want to. But if they're bigger than you, stronger than you, well-funded, and all those things, you will lose. So what do you have to do? You have to interrupt their supply chain, right? That's where you start going to their mothers and their fathers and their preachers and their children, and you're like, hey, look, I'm not scary. Hey, the issue isn't the difference in our melanin. The difference is in our lifestyles. The difference is in our socioeconomic situation. The difference is in all these different things. You erode what they themselves have to rely on. That's that whole hearts and minds thing that the U.S. government likes to talk about when we're at war. Yes, you got to fight what's in front of you, but at the same time, you got to get back here. You got to get to the women. You got to get to the children, right? You got to get them to see you as a person and see why this is all happening. And then you'll get to the point where the people trying to fight don't have reinforcements. Nobody's coming behind them, and it weakens the opposition. But
yeah, Parker, that's exactly it. That's exactly the point. We made it so black and white. Either you are or you're not racist.
Yeah.
And we also, and let me add just a caveat to that statement. And it also depends on what you define as racist.
I agree.
There's a statement that's coming. There's a statement that people are using now that, I had to, think about it. It's not my circus, so it's not my monkeys. And what they're saying is, that little situation over there, it don't bother me. So you do what you do. It ain't my circus. It ain't my monkey. People are gonna take offense to the monkey part. I'm taking it on face value of I get what you're saying. It's not my circus. It's not my monkeys. It's not my
I'm so
family.
racially charged that I get mad anytime you bring up monkeys. Like when my children were babies, I told my wife early on, I said, "Don't you bring nothing up in here that's no monkey. I don't want no monkey pajamas. I don't want no monkey mobiles. I don't want no monkey toys. I don't want no monkey nothing."
You know what I found? You know what I found funny with society? I thought about this the other day, and we're finna end the show. But Parker, I'm getting to all of the stuff that you put, so don't worry about it. Society has changed dramatically, and these are the people on the other side, and you know who you are, who are so much fighting for change. So you're going out of your way to change it. And I know I'm way off the subject of this, but I saw it recently, and it was like, when we used to say certain statements, and it was like it just flowed like it was part of our culture to say it. Do anybody remember when we used to say, now I'm just gonna make a statement, man, those some nice jeans, man. I like those nice jeans. No homo. And I went, oh, that is not going to work now.
Really bad. But that's the evolution
to work.
Men should be able to give compliments to other. What?
We should, but Tracy, that was the thing. Like,
I mean, I often said women are pretty.
I'm not sexually attracted to you, but you look great.
Right. So, like, for example, what I was saying about Barack Obama 20 years ago, I would have had to say what Marlon just said.
I just totally different because I'm like, huh? What?
But see, women are different. Let's just be real now. Women make comments on each other's appearance all the time, but a lot of times it'd be backhanded compliments. So let's not pretend it's cool. But for dudes, it was always that fear of anything that could attach to your masculinity. So if we made a positive comment about another dude, we would say that, right? Or if somebody did something that wasn't all that smart, we would call them the R word, right? Or we would say the situation was the R word.
Yeah, we have used the R word, the F word. Come on, dude, you ain't gonna jump from this wall to that wall, man. Stop being an F word. We've used
that. So the evolution of terminology comes in, and where we oftentimes have problems is that people are naturally resistant to change because they take it as a personal attack, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you go to black people and you tell black people, some black folks, hey, don't use the N-word, right? Don't use it. They'd be like, well, hey, it's a term of endearment and blah, 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 blah. It's the same situation as saying don't say no H or don't call somebody a bundle of sticks or whatever. It's the same thing. Just because you're accustomed to using a particular term, society might be moving a little faster than you are ready for in that particular area. That's why we have people who fight about using pronouns, right? Like, for example, all these pronouns out here, I'll be real. I look at LinkedIn and it'd be like he, her, him, they, them, she, whatever. I can't keep track.
I didn't even know what it meant. I had to have somebody explain it to me. I was like, oh.
But I can't keep track. I will tell people, and y'all have heard me say it, I am not going to be your perfect ally. But what I will try to do is not intentionally make the same mistake twice. Exactly. So if you tell me that your pronoun is they, I don't understand that. I'm telling you right now, people out there all across America and the world, I don't understand an individual identifying themselves as they. But if you tell me that you use that as your pronoun, I have two choices. Me, Theus.
Mm-hmm.
I can either try to learn how to incorporate that into my speech when I'm with you, or I'll just use your name. Right? That's me.
Yeah,
but what
I
I'm not going to do is tell you that you're wrong for choosing the pronoun that you. I don't care. It don't change my world.
And here's the deal too, and this is just for everybody else who may be on the fence about this. You don't have to understand it to respect it.
Right.
You don't have to. This is not I don't understand what's going on. You know, Susie is now Sam. Well, I'm not going to call him Sam because I don't understand it. Bruh, it ain't up for your understanding. Because I guarantee you, if I asked you, what avenues did you use to try to understand this? I guarantee you're going to say nothing.
Because you don't feel like you should have to.
Because you don't feel like you have to do any understanding. You no research, no anything else. So you've already decided, I'm going to be so disrespectful because I'm living in this certain lifestyle. I'm not going to try to change what I feel. I know you for what you are, so I'm not going to move.
It's just like that scene in Coming to America where the barber said, your mama named you Clay, I'm going to call you Clay.
Exactly.
Period.
And that's that conservative thinking.
That's that
says,
conservative.
I'm holding on to this.
And I don't care what you say. But, you know, there's a lot of things that I simply don't understand. Pronouns
I fully
being
agree.
one. I just don't know. And, you know, I tried so hard to make sure I don't expose what I don't know to other people because I want to get with a group of people like, you know, I got questions about this and this is what I was thinking, but is it really like that? I wish I had that because there's like a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, this is completely gone over my head. What?
But that's when you talk to somebody one-on-one that you have a level of a trust.
Yeah,
of trust
but I
with.
don't. That's the bad thing.
But that's the deal.
Because think about almost any subject that I could think of that you may have, I'm just projecting here for a second. For example, I do not understand all the spectrum identities that happen in the queer space. I don't get it. I don't. Some of it I honestly think is preferential and quixotic, and today you decide that, and then a year from now you're gonna have a whole nother word that I got to learn and all that. And so part of me just pulls back and it's like, look, man, I ain't you can't make me become what you want me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a fair statement. But at the same time, here's what I can do. I can ask members of whichever communities I have access to, well, what's the general term? And what I've been told is queer is a catch-all term. So, fine. I don't have to know all your alphabets. I can just say, I respect the queer community for wherever they at, but don't come to me telling me I have to agree with you, right? I don't have to agree with you that you think you're a furry. I ain't got to agree with that. In my heart of hearts, you crazy. But that's your life, not mine.
Yeah, if you want to go by a
life, man.
hey, that is on you.
And I do that with Anna. I do that with Anna all the time when I show these stories and I say, so Anna, and Tracy, this would answer your question too. I show these stories and I go, Anna, is this a group? And 99.9 times out of 100, she'll go, yep. But I'll go, good gracious, are you?
Yeah, you don't want to be asking me that question. I'll be like, it can't be. Ain't no way this could be.
There is no way this could be a group. And I'll go,
yeah, I wish I did have that person that I could say, hey, not that you guys aren't great because y'all are, but it's like, because if I say it out loud.
Some stuff you can't ask on the show.
But here's the deal, though. I don't.
Yeah, some things I
don't understand your group. Like I'll even remember the last different group we had on here, and it was the Fixation group. And I went, oh my dear God, there's a group that it, but I don't have to understand it. I respect it. I guarantee I'm not going to any of your meetings. I'm not going to your website. I'm not going to any
Wait a minute, there's
of
not a
your
website,
YouTube
is there?
channels. I'm just
Everybody got a
not-
website.
Hey,
Everybody got a website, Tracy.
No, everybody don't have a website.
Everybody got a
Marlon
website.
doesn't have a
Tracy,
website.
Tracy, are you even paying attention? We
Marlon
literally
doesn't.
just said it's an asphyxiation group. Do you not think there's a website for it?
But you don't have a website. That was my only point.
He has a YouTube website.
And that's free. I'm just saying.
Really?
So, yep, I know.
Everything that we talked about. You know
I mean,
what?
she is right, Marlon. But it is a YouTube website. He got the
Cue
he got the YouTube, and that works just fine.
the music.
Now we can't hear nobody because he got that loud music.